Focus. God, I gotta get it. I gotta get a better setup. Click the links for Bit Chute, Odysee, even World Truth Video. I started putting stuff on there. There's so many platforms. I like Odysee because it's monetized. People can donate a nickel, and it's like, oh, that adds up to like $120 so far for like a cloned video chat platform. And people also make donations too. But it's like, oh yeah, that's like there's as much money in Odysee if you're like kind of in the alt media sphere as there would have been on YouTube, because they're just not going to let you get your story out on YouTube. And then click the links to a support channel if you wish. X-Men, this is some story about some jerk off doing some jerk off stuff about some jerk off intellectual property that nobody cares about, because they're gonna take it and they're gonna ruin it because they hate you. Oh, surely it must be more complicated than that. No, you just don't understand the ramifications of the stories we're trying to tell with diversity and diversity. No, it's just, I mean, there's a little some of that. They pay lip service to it because, I mean, they've been brainwashed for decades. But it's really like they see normies have fun. Just like I let the confiscate, defend, and menace people, just normies. Oh, hey, we enjoy these things. And they see this, and they see it, and they're like, when a pit bull sees a child, it immediately thinks, how can I maul this child to death? How can I destroy this child and anyone who comes to save the child? That's what a pit bull does. That's what these people are doing. They're mentally pit bulls. They're just rabid porcupines who just want to throw spines in all directions. They see people having a good time, and they're miserable people. They hate themselves. They hate their lives. They hate everything about the world. Trump's America, am I right? No, except it's not Trump's America anymore. But Trump is living in their head rent-free, and all those people who voted for him are also there. They see these normie people just living life. They're like, I just wanted to barbecue. Just wouldn't leave me alone. Just wanted to barbecue. Look at that. Stone Toss. Stone Toss. He's a very, very funny comic on Twitter. He's got his own website. These people see normies having a good time, and they're not having a good time. And they go, oh, don't you want to just diversify your thing? No, we don't, and we want you to go away from us. But that if you don't want multi-diversity, then that means you're a Hugo Boss wearer. Maybe not. We don't want you around because you're a bad person, and we don't want you manipulating us in any way. We don't want you in our intellectual sphere, our digital space, even our physical geographic 3D space. We want you far away because you people are bad people. You're parasites and apparently colorblind. And so many jokes you could say, like even a few years ago. And you know, it's like every group got roasted. It was every group got roasted. And now, well, you just can't say them on YouTube because YouTube is so friggin' lame now. Anyway, so they see people having a good time, and they just want to, like brass against. They literally want to straddle your face and pee on you because they're not having a good time. They want to bring everyone down. All right, this is his unbelievably freaking cringy tweet where he thinks he's really raging against the machine with that. Why are you wearing something when your nose is exposed? The concept is filtration, right? That doesn't make any sense. You just look like a twat. He gets roasted in the comments, and then one of his really good comments, let's go Brandon Cute, is about how horrible whatever he's planning is going to be because, yeah, whatever these people are in charge of is just going to be. This is what happens when you breastfeed till you're 15. My hopes for a decent project just faded away. So, yeah, he's still, okay, I'm as far beyond Trump supporters as they are beyond you. I thought that was a pretty good assessment of the situation. I'm right there with you, Joseph 5. These people are raging at Trump like Trump is some Stalin-esque Fidel Castro monster. We're way beyond Trump. Where we're going, kids, we will need no Trump. Okay, so useful idiots and their puppet masters. There seems to be this myth that creative people are left-wing. And there seems to also the creative people use Apple. Apple sucks. Apple sucks balls. Linux, Unix, Windows, and Android definitely master race. Apple is like, oh, we only allow you to play in the Apple sphere. We don't play well with others. Like, but this Apple's like a percentage of whatever. I hate it when people, oh, hey, can you help me fix my Apple tablet? Like, I have no experience with Apple because I hate all Apple products. Oh, yeah, but you're good at computers. Now you can help me fix it. I'm like, okay, I will, but I mean, it's like, you could have just got an Android for like half the price and I could show you. But I help them fix their stupid Apple projects because that's what I'm all about. Okay, so there's this myth about creative people. They're left-wing. Not really. As Comicsgate will show you, left-wing people control these industries, and then they hire left-wing people. Left-wing people are the most intolerant, racist people in America. Finally, the Karen community is looking around and starting to see that. Oh, yay, feminism. Oh, wait, it got taken over by critical race Bolsheviks who push us aside in a group that we started. Now the best feminists are biological men. If you don't gatekeep out globalists, they will take over your group and they will destroy it because that's what they do. They're filthy, filthy parasites. So I could title the video, Everything Sucks, and here is why. I don't think that would get a whole lot of views. In regards to pop culture, that's a pretty accurate assessment. It's going to be all BLT, mixed race, drag kids, propaganda, hashtag BLM, unless they are Christians or conservatives. Woke companies hire woke, useful idiots to push the party line. Think of the lack of self-awareness for this idiot to post a picture on a skateboard with a face diaper on his chin and bravely saying, F Trump. He really thought he was doing something to say something the mainstream media has been saying for decades. If I was on the left, I would take these posts down out of embarrassment. Congratulations, you got Biden. Enjoy the $5 gas, at least in California. And I'm California, and I hate Californians. They deserve what they get. You voted for this, and it's like, you got this. Hey, things were cool, and so they traded in the Prius for like a Ford Explorer, and the Prius was getting 40 miles a gallon. Now you're getting 18 miles a gallon. All those SUVs you see rolling around town, they're getting less than 20 miles a gallon. You're paying like $5 a gallon for gas. Enjoy that Dodge with the 7-liter 700 horsepower engine. Like, that's getting 15 miles to the gallon. You are paying through the friggin' nose for that. Anyway, so Disney is absolute cancer. They're globalists who hire useful idiots to make propaganda. It's a formula guaranteed to fail. The thing is, they know it's going to fail. They're not stupid. They are globalists. But more than that, they're not subtle about it. They take every new fresh hell, every new degeneracy, and they jump on board. When pronouns got popular, they were magically 100% on board. Every corporate fuckdoll whore was suddenly down with the latest cultural zeitgeist, cipher, the winds of crap. When the rainbow BLT was safe for corporate America, then suddenly everything was rainbow and gay. It's like, hey, where were you 10 years ago? Where were you 40 years ago in the AIDS crisis? Well, we know where Fauci was during the AZT crisis, if you want to Google that. Where was corporate America, even like 20 years ago? It's like it wasn't safe back then, so you were nowhere to be found. But now suddenly everything's rainbow, and like, oh, we're all rainbow. It's like, yeah, but you guys weren't rainbow 10 years. Hey, look, shiny object. Kyle Rittenhouse. We need to focus on Kyle Rittenhouse, the Mexican supremacist who shot monsters, absolute monsters. Okay, anything I say further on that would be Fed posting. Okay, so no, corporations don't care. They're not allies because you don't need allies, because most of this stuff isn't real. You don't need someone to affirm your pronouns because, and hear me out here, it's a fad. It's all fake. And I don't mean any disrespect when I say that. In 20 years, nobody will remember why anyone cared about pronouns. I mean that. I don't mean disrespect when I say that. I really mean that. I'm not just saying that for you two. I mean, you'd be better spent using your time to learn about how to cook vegetables and how to go for a walk. Or, just do it. Just literally go for a walk. You'd be, instead of like exploring your gender identity, you'd be better exploring how to cook and prepare carrots and broccoli as part of your morning meal, and how to I'll make a YouTube cooking channel. I prepare food ahead of time. It's like, it's kind of a weird way to spend your time, but it's better than exploring your gender identity, which will bring you nothing in the future. It's like, it's not, I don't know if it's negative or positive. It's just going to bring nothing to you. You'd be better, I'm going to make a video about my exercise transformation. I'm going to walk, 5 miles every day. And it's like, we'll see what happens. I'm saying basically anything's a better use of your time than, if corporate America is behind it and corporate America is pushing it, it might not necessarily be venomous poison. It might not be evil, but it's probably not to your benefit. It's to their benefit. That's why they're pushing it. It's going to be the Spice Girls and Menudo of cultural trends. Remember Kwanzaa, the holiday? Yeah, nobody cares about Kwanzaa. All this stuff is to manipulate gullible people who already have a lifetime of propaganda from schools and Hollywood. Every politician that has an R after their name outrages the globalist media and their useful idiots that love to be manipulated. Oh, Bush is a Nazi. Really? I mean, now, he's an idiot, or he was an idiot, or an evil person, but it's like, was he any different than Bill Clinton or anyone else? Aren't they all kind of evil people? Oh, I guess you're right. They are really. They're just kind of wings of the same bird, except the bird's, I guess a nice way to say it is a bird's pooping on her head, but another way to think of the bird is like an emu or an ostrich or something like that, where they're disemboweling us daily. Like, who's that guy who's chained to the rock and get disemboweled? It's like, should have been disemboweled by a big ostrich or emu or something like that. They disembowel us every day, and then we regenerate. We got a Wolverine healing factor, snickety snick, come back to life, and then the next day they disembowel us. Really, I want to say they're effing us in the A, but it's a little graphic for YouTube. We're disemboweling us. Less graphic, I guess. All these R and D, they're the same puppets whose strings are pulled by the same people to give us the illusion of choice. Hey, do you want this movie with a plucky know-it-all purse puppy who fights the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, evil banker, landlord, business fat cat? Hey, you saw those 80s movies? I was like, every 80s movie. Oh, we're going to ski down the mountain, or we're going to save the ski center. It's like, or we're going to save the whatever from the evil blue-eyed business developer. The evil Drumpf, am I right? Yeah. Well, Drumpf's, like, for sure he's out there, but it's like, what percentage of guys are looking like Drumpf, and what percent, where I'm going with that. So do you want the Disney version, or the version by a company with a different name, but is exactly the same as Disney? That's what I remember Dave Chappelle for, that one movie, Half Baked. It was like, that's the one thing I remember him for where that was a legitimately well done, funny movie. And like his later stuff, he's just kind of a bitter guy who's got a lot of cognitive dissonance, where he sees the world and what's going on. It's like, oh, I have a narrative and I have reality, and there's a lot of cognitive dissonance going on there. It's like 2 + 2 = 4, but the media is saying I need to believe 2 + 2 = something other than 4. Anyway, so you brainwash these idiots their whole life with Marxist schools in Hollywood, and then hire them to make more of the same propaganda. But the sort of white pillish, off-whitish pill, what was that movie? He's got a card that has bone stock. That was a great book. That guy wrote Less Than Zero, and then he wrote that book. He wrote a bunch of these books, fantastic books that were also made into fantastic movies. Like, they had that 80s feel about them of, I don't know, just kind of like the coked up 80s vibe. 80s movies were so freaking good. Like, if you stop movies at about 1990 and like everything pre-1990, you're in a pretty good camp. Like, I say, if I had to pick a decade, I'd say 77 to 87, so that way you get the Star Wars thing in there. Superman, I think, was that 78? And then Star Trek, I think it was 79. You get the idea. There's so many great movies. Just when movies, like, they got out of their own way, and they just, like, you're gonna get laid, just keep smiling and be nice. Goonies, Gremlins, all that kind of stuff. And I got something to say on that, too. I think it's another video. I think people got these weird expectations of, like, they see these houses and, like, 16 candles. And that's another video. Anyway, so the sort of white pill is people got a lot of options, entertainment options to stay. And they're finally waking up to the crap Hollywood is putting out. And also what giant assholes they are. And they are. Like, 99% of people in Hollywood and comics are giant panty-sniffing jerk-offs. You can't hire left-wing idiots and expect them not to be left-wing idiots. It's a concept of transformative versus curative. People who enjoy the original concept and want to see versions of it, but carried out through the original artistic vision of the creator. And even, I'm going to go a little step further, like the Afro Hobbits thing. It's not impossible to put them in the Hobbit universe, like the Lord of the Ring universe. But someone on the right has to do it. I could do it and make it believable. There's a lot of John Delarose could do it. Anyone in CG could do it. They have to be coming from the writer perspective. Like, you just can't make them purse puppies. And don't get me wrong, it's a stupid thing to do, leave the stories alone. But if you put a gun to my head, in the form of money, you're like, okay, here's how you do it. They're like a separate tribe that is coming in because there's a broad coalition who has to defeat Saruman or Saurian. It's like they can't be this mixed tribe of hobbits. It doesn't make any sense because people have a habit of having sex with each other and making babies. And so when you've got two different groups that look visually distinctive, after 100 years, they're all going to look the same. So it's like the Dark Tower movie. That's why the Dark Tower movie went up its own butthole, because it had a scene in that movie. It was just such stupidity. Anyway, so then we have the gay butt sex version, which is the transformative version. That means that they never cared about the original story at all. The story is just a stepping stone to propaganda. They want the name recognition of the original story, but it's a story of like 5 Englishmen who are going on an adventure. Hey, wouldn't it be great if they were like BLT, trans-Nigerian? No, you silly, coked-up Hollywood twat. The original story works because of the chemistry involved. Why would you want to ruin a good thing? You're going to get laid. Just get out of your own way. Because they're soulless commies who want to take everything you enjoy and snuggle it to departure of this mortal coil. If you want to tell a trans furry story, then stop being a soulless parasite and write your own story. Writing a story isn't hard. Your average idiot off the street can do it for you for a very reasonable amount of money. None of this is about money. They consider these avenues as subsidized propaganda. And let me go a step further. They will gladly run a business into the ground in the name of woke. The top 1% executives in a company are wealthy. They can retire or move to another company or start their own company. Either like a lateral move, or even if it's a step down, it's like they have enough money where they're not worried about it. The company, and the thing is, they know people. It's like, hey, why don't we start our own little micro, whatever. The company, even something as big as Disney, is just like an expendable tool. It's a vehicle. Yeah, think of it as a vehicle that they have. If they have to destroy it, they run it to red line nonstop until the engine just explodes. They absolutely will. Nothing matters to these people but propaganda in the name of their religion of globalism. But what I mean by that, like the vehicle, you go, what? Disney's the billion trillion dollar, yeah, it's all these, but the top 1% of the guys who are making the shot callers. He goes, well, what about the other 99% who they don't give two shits about those 99% of people? And it's hard for the normie to understand, who is not a borderline narcissistic personality disorder, sociopath, psychopath, something like that, who are like, oh, I don't want to, like, I get a company, I don't want to just screw the people who have some detrimental reliance on the concept of like good faith and fair dealing. You start a company that's like, oh, you're going to run it as generally accepted rules of accounting, but also like good faith and fair dealing kind of means like generally accepted rules of civilization, of being a human kind of thing. Like you're not just going to sell out to somebody who's just going to destroy it. And it's like that concept of like in the 80s they were making movies about this. These filthy parasite globalists were doing stuff in the 80s about like greed is good. So much to say. It's like, why don't you live stream? Because it would be like a first and last live stream, probably. Like, oh, you're kicked off Twitter or YouTube. Not only that, but you're like, we're going to try to ban you from the internet, period. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode.